The Huawei Nova 9 SE is the newest in the Nova series lineup. We've had it for a little bit, and here's everything you need to know about it in under 6 minutes. Let's start off with the unboxing. Now, the unboxing is very similar to the previous Huawei devices. Inside, you're going to get the Huawei Nova 9 SE itself, of course, actually looking very similar to the Nova 8 and to the Nova 9. Moving further along, inside you've got the SIM card ejector tool and a clear case included. You also get the 66-watt supercharging brick as well as a Type-C cable. Now, looking at the Nova 9 SE itself, the version that I have here is the crystal blue. This one kind of has this light beam coming out of the camera module, so when you turn and move the device around, it kind of looks like there's a beam projecting from the lower camera, and it looks pretty cool. It is, however, a fingerprint magnet, so keep that in mind. You're going to be wiping this pretty much all the time unless you put a case on top. Now, as far as the ports and buttons go, at the bottom we get a Type-C input and bottom-facing speakers. On the right side, we have the power button that is integrated with the fingerprint sensor. This works pretty well. It's not super fast, but it works all right. We then have the volume rocker right next to that, and at the top, we have the SIM card tray. Now, let's first talk about the display on this. On this, you get a 6.78-inch IPS LCD display with 90 Hz of refresh rate. You also get an 89.5% screen-to-body ratio with a pixel density of 387 ppi. Now, for the display, it is an LCD. You can't really expect some wonders out of it. It is a 90 Hz though, which is, I guess, pretty decent. That's kind of expected now. It feels decent to consume content on, watching videos or YouTube, Netflix, all of that looks alright. But in bright light situations, it might be difficult to view your display on here, which is one of the things I didn't really like about it. But overall, for casual content viewing or even gaming and daily usability on social media, it's not terrible, it's pretty okay. At the back of the phone, we do have that pill-shaped camera module that I talked about, in which you get a 108 megapixel camera with f1.9, you get an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro lens, and then a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The front camera on this is a 16 megapixel f2.2 wide lens. Let's take a look at some of the image samples on here. So when you click the picture, the processing that it does actually makes the image turn out a lot better than you'd expect. So the processing on it here is done really, really well. This is for the back camera. The front camera is kind of mediocre, not really the best I've seen even at this price range. Kind of disappointed with the front camera, but the back camera does pretty well. Now, the ultra-wide and the main lens didn't seem to have any HDR, so I wasn't able to get multiple depths of exposure, just some blown-out highlights in some cases, which isn't really the best. The ultra-wide camera is pretty good, but kind of inferior to the main camera, so just keep that in mind. For video, this only goes up to 1080p, which is kind of disappointing in this day and age. But again, I would choose better quality 1080 than horrible quality 4K, so there you go. This also carries out those creative vlog experience features that they talked about earlier, so you still get that dual view shooting where you can shoot with the front and back camera simultaneously. This worked pretty well from my testing. Now let's talk performance and gaming. So the chipset that we get on here is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 680 4G processor. This is a 6nm processor, and we get it with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 GB of storage. Gaming on here, as expected, was pretty decent. So in terms of frame rate in Call of Duty Mobile, I could only go to high frame rate. I can't even go for very high or extreme, which other phones do have. But in terms of graphics quality, if you do choose to play at the higher frame rate, you'll have to restrict yourself to low graphics. There's no way you can increase graphics and get high frame rate. But performance-wise, not really that noticeable, to be honest. I am the kind of person who prefers frame rate over graphics. I had a pretty pleasant experience playing this, no issues whatsoever, no lag or stutter, even in multitasking and just day-to-day usability. Gaming as well, it didn't really seem to heat up at all, even after a couple of hours of gaming. So gaming-wise, it's a pretty solid phone. In terms of software and UI, the Huawei Nova 9 SE is running EMUI 12 rather than Harmony OS, which I was kind of disappointed by because I really liked Harmony OS. But EMUI is pretty good as well, as this one is based off of Android 11. Great customization capabilities as well, and it feels very smooth and snappy. For everyone who's going to be asking about Google Play services, I am using YouTube and Gmail on here because I use GSpace to install them, so I don't really even feel like I don't have Google. We made an entire video about how you can do that, so click here to watch that. Now, in terms of battery, this is where it kind of lacks a little bit. It's only a 4000 milliamp hour battery, but you do compensate for it by having that 66-watt super fast charger, which can get you up to 75% in just 20 minutes, which is kind of incredible. So battery life wise, even if it runs out of charge really quick, you can top that up in just 20 minutes to almost 80%. Now, all in all, this may not be the best smartphone you're going to find within this price range. For me personally, I really like the design. The camera processing quality is quite pleasing. Gaming performance was kind of decent. What I was kind of bummed out about was the single speaker rather than dual, because every other phone is doing a dual speaker right now. And also the battery life being kind of on the lower side. So if you're going to be gaming and using the camera a lot, you're going to drain very quickly. But on the plus side, you do get that fast charger, which can top it up very quickly. Overall, it's a pretty solid, decent phone and definitely worth considering. This has been Omar from Product Nation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.